Today, we're stepping into a future where cybersecurity is ruled by, well, quantum mechanics.
Yeah, it's quantum cryptography,
Hmm.
and it sounds like something out of science fiction.
It really does. But it has the potential to change how we protect information, forever.
That's right. It's not just about making our systems stronger. It's about using the laws of the universe to create encryption that's basically unbreakable.
Unbreakable, that's a bold statement.
Yep.
What's the difference between quantum cryptography and what we have now?
So right now, encryption relies on math problems that are hard to solve, even for supercomputers.
Right.
But quantum computers, they're the different beast.
Okay.
They use quantum mechanics to calculate in ways regular computers can't.
So quantum computers have a secret weapon to crack our codes.
Yeah, precisely. There's something called Shor's algorithm. If a strong enough quantum computer runs it, it could break the encryption we use for everything. Online banking, messaging, you name it.
So does quantum cryptography come in to, build new locks that these quantum computers can't pick?
Exactly. It uses the principles of quantum mechanics. So security is based on physics, not just math. It's like a lock where the key changes if someone tries to look at it.
Whoa, that's kind of mind-blowing. Can you break down how it works?
Yeah, sure. Imagine two people, Alice and Bob. They want to share a secret.
Okay, classic Alice and Bob.
Right. In quantum cryptography, they'd use photons, tiny light particles, to send a secret key.
They're sending secrets with light beams. That's cool.
It is. Here's the quantum part. These photons can be polarized. They vibrate in one direction, like polarized sunglasses that only let in certain light. Alice encodes information in the photon's polarization, ones and asias, basically. Then Bob measures the polarization to decode the message.
So Alice is kind of like whispering a code by jiggling these photons, and Bob has to figure out the right way to listen.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, here's the important part. Just by observing a quantum system, like measuring the photon, you change it. So if someone tries to listen in, they'll change the photons, and Alice and Bob know something's up.
It's like trying to spy with a mirror. You put the mirror up, you change what's happening, and the people inside know they're being watched.
Perfect analogy. It's quantum uncertainty, one of the reasons quantum cryptography is so secure.
So any eavesdropping sets off an alarm. That's pretty neat.
There's also something called no cloning. You can't perfectly copy a quantum state. So if someone tries to steal the key, their copy will be flawed, and again, Alice and Bob know.
Uncertainty, no cloning. These quantum properties are like ultimate security guards. But how does this become a real system?
The most developed application is quantum key distribution, or QKD. It's how Alice and Bob share a key they can then use for regular encryption.
So they use quantum tricks for a super secure key and then use that key for normal encryption.
Exactly. It's like a super secure way to deliver a key for a regular lock. They know no one else has a copy because of QKD.
It's amazing how we can use these mind-bending quantum concepts for real-world security.
It is. But QKD has its challenges, like any technology. Distance is a big one.
Distance. What does that have to do with quantum cryptography?
Well, these photons carrying the keys, they're sensitive. As they travel, they're affected by noise and interference. The further they go, the more likely they lose their quantum properties, and the key becomes unreliable.
Like a whisper in a noisy room.
Mm-hmm.
Harder to hear the further you are, right?
Exactly. And you can't just shout louder. That breaks the quantum rules.
So how far can we send these keys today?
Realistically, a few hundred kilometers at most. After that, the signal's too weak. It means we don't have quantum-secured networks spanning continents yet.
No cross-Pacific secure messages.
Not yet. Researchers are working on it, though. They're using trusted relay nodes to refresh the keys along the way.
Like quantum whisperers, passing the secret message along.
Exactly. Each node gets the key, checks it, and sends a fresh copy to the next node. It's a way to beat the distance problem without breaking the quantum rules.
That's clever. Like building a secure quantum pipeline across the world, node by node. You mentioned satellites earlier. How do those fit in?
Yes. Satellites are where it gets even more futuristic. Remember how photons are sensitive in fiber optic cables? Sending them through space is actually better. Less noise up there, so they travel further without losing their quantum properties.
Wait, so shooting lasers into space is better than cables underground?
It sounds strange, but yes. Researchers are using satellites to send keys between ground stations. Imagine a satellite sending secure keys all over the world. It could let us create global quantum networks.
Satellites sending secret quantum keys around. Like science fiction come to life. It's amazing what's possible.
It shows how quantum cryptography is pushing boundaries. But there's more to quantum cryptography than QKD.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What else is out there?
Well, quantum coin flipping's a cool one. Imagine you and I want to bet, but we don't trust each other to flip a coin fairly.
Happens all the time.
Quantum coin flipping uses photon polarization to guarantee a random outcome.
So it's like a cosmic coin flipper that's always fair.
Exactly. It's an example of how quantum mechanics creates systems that are fair and trustworthy.
No more arguing over heads or tails.
Mm.
But are there other uses for these alternative types of quantum cryptography?
Definitely. Secure voting, new ways to verify digital signatures, tons of possibilities waiting to be discovered.
This is all so exciting. Feels like we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears to something important. Post-quantum cryptography. It's crucial for the future of data security.
Absolutely. We got to be prepared for a world with powerful quantum computers.
So let's break it down. Post-quantum cryptography. Sounds almost like a contradiction. What is it?
It might sound strange, but it's simple. Post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, aims to create algorithms that are safe from both regular and quantum computers.
So like a fortress that can handle anything, medieval catapults or futuristic lasers.
Exactly. PQC doesn't rely on quantum mechanics itself. It focuses on finding math problems that both classical and quantum computers find tough. It's like making a lock tougher, even if you know someone might have a new type of key.
Got it. So quantum cryptography, USES quantum mechanics, while post-quantum cryptography protects against it.
Exactly. Two sides of the same coin, both vital for the quantum age. And the good news is there's a lot of work being done on PQC right now.
So a two-pronged approach. Quantum cryptography for potentially unbreakable communication and PQC to make our current systems quantum resistant.
Precisely. It shows how dynamic this field is. As quantum computers improve, we have to stay ahead and keep our data safe.
This has been an incredible journey, peeking into a future where cybersecurity is shaped by quantum mechanics.
It is exciting, but maybe we should take a break. We'll be back soon to delve even deeper.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were on the topic of post-quantum cryptography, that backup plan to keep our data safe when quantum computers become, really powerful. It's fascinating how people are working on new math problems that are hard for both normal and quantum computers.
Yeah, what's cool about PQC is that it doesn't actually USE quantum mechanics. It's like its own branch of cryptography growing alongside quantum computing.
Right, so quantum cryptography uses quantum weirdness, but PQC is about finding tough math problems that'll stump even quantum computers.
Exactly. It's a race, kinda. As quantum computers get better, we need those quantum-resistant algorithms ready to go.
So what are the front runners in this race? What kind of math are we talking about here?
There are a few big areas, each with pros and cons. One that's promising is lattice-based cryptography. It's all about finding the shortest vector in a high-dimensional lattice, like a grid in space, but with way more dimensions.
I'm trying to picture that, and it's pretty abstract. How do we know these lattice problems are actually hard for quantum computers?
Researchers have been looking at these problems for a long time, and so far, no one's found a quick way to solve them, not even with quantum computers. So there's a good chance they really are quantum resistant.
So we're kind of hoping that even with their quantum powers, these computers will get lost in this really complex maze.
That's a great way to put it. And lattice-based cryptography has other perks too. It's pretty efficient. Doesn't need tons of computing power, which is important for real-world stuff.
Secure and practical. Sounds good. What else is being researched?
Code-based cryptography is another interesting one. It uses error-correcting codes, the same stuff used in communications and data storage.
Error correcting codes, yeah. Those extra bits added to a message, so if some parts get messed up, you can still get the message.
Exactly. Code-based cryptography uses similar ideas for encryption. You hide the message in a code that's super hard to break, even for a quantum computer.
Like hiding a needle in a haystack, but the haystack is made of code and the needle's our secret message.
Yeah, that's a fun way to think about it. Then there's multivariate cryptography, which uses systems of polynomial equations for encryption. Those are really hard to solve, even for quantum computers.
So it's like a giant Sudoku puzzle, but with equations instead of numbers. Oof, my brain hurts.
It's complex, yeah, but that's why it's promising. The complexity is what makes it tough to crack.
Okay, so lattice-based, code-based, and multivariate. Any other contenders in this PQC arena?
A few more, each with their own quirks. Hash-based cryptography uses cryptographic hash functions, basically digital fingerprints. Then there's isogeny-based cryptography, which uses elliptic curves, kind of like mathematical shapes to make hard problems.
Elliptic curves, aren't those used in some of the cryptography we have now?
You're right, elliptic curves are already in use, but isogeny-based cryptography takes it further. It uses the relationships between different curves to make even harder problems.
Like taking tools we have and using them in even more clever ways.
Exactly. And lastly, there's symmetric key quantum resistance. This one focuses on making existing algorithms like AES strong enough to resist quantum computers.
So instead of new algorithms, we're making the ones we have tougher.
Yep. Tweaking and strengthening them to hold up against those quantum attacks.
Sounds like lots of options for PQC, but how do we know which ones will actually win?
Well, that's where organizations like NIST come in, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They're leading the way to evaluate and standardize quantum-resistant algorithms.
So they're like the judges of this PQC competition,
Okay,
making sure it's a fair fight and picking the strongest ones.
good analogy. NIST has this whole competition going, inviting people from everywhere to submit their best PQC algorithms. They test them rigorously to see which can really stand the test of time, or, I guess, quantum computers.
Intense process.
Mm-hmm.
When will we know the winners of this cryptographic showdown?
NIST has announced some finalists, and they're being evaluated now. We should see the first standardized PQC algorithms within the next few years.
So it's not just theory anymore. We're getting close to real, practical, quantum-resistant algorithms.
Yes. And it's a crucial step. Large-scale quantum computers might be a while off, but we need to start using these new algorithms now.
Like building a stronger foundation for our digital world, something that can handle the quantum revolution.
Precisely. And as we switch over, it's important to remember PQC is just one part of the solution. Quantum cryptography itself, like with QKD, offers another layer of security, maybe even unbreakable encryption.
So it's not about replacing one with the other. We're adding more tools, making a stronger approach to security.
Exactly. It's about using both quantum mechanics and good old-fashioned cryptography to stay ahead of the game.
It's pretty amazing. We've covered a lot, from the basics of quantum cryptography to the challenges and now the big picture of PQC. But I want to shift gears a bit now and talk about the bigger implications. Quantum cryptography can change cybersecurity, but what about society as a whole?
That's a big question. Like with any powerful technology, we need to think about the good and the bad.
Yeah, like opening Pandora's box. Could be amazing,
Hmm?
but we need to be ready for what comes out.
Exactly. So maybe we should explore some of those societal impacts of quantum cryptography and what it might mean for the future.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were about to tackle a big question. What happens when this super-powered cryptography gets out there, in the real world?
It's one thing to discuss algorithms and all that, but it's different to think about how it could change, well, everything. Society, I mean.
Exactly. We've got this key to a new level of security, but what will it unlock? And are there things we should keep locked away?
Tough questions, really. No easy answers, like trying to predict the future. But we can look at some scenarios, think about what might happen.
All right, let's put on our future predicting hats then. What's good about a world with quantum cryptography everywhere?
Well, think about it. Online transactions that can't be hacked. Your data, totally safe from, well, anyone. Sensitive stuff between governments, companies, protected from even the best spies.
Sounds pretty ideal.
Yeah.
No more identity theft, data breaches, cyber warfare.
It's a good vision, and it's why people are working on this so hard. Quantum cryptography could give us a level of trust and security we've never had. Change everything, really. E-commerce, healthcare, even national defense.
But like you said before, every powerful tool has, two sides. What are the risks, the things that could go wrong?
One worry is, bad guys using it. Imagine criminals or terrorists with unbreakable encryption. It would be really hard to stop them, For law enforcement, intelligence agencies, anyone trying to keep things safe.
So the bad guys get a shield that even the good guys can't get through. That's a bit scary.
It is. It makes you think, how do we balance security with keeping people safe? It's tough, and it'll be even harder as this technology gets, more advanced.
Right, because if we focus too much on one side, criminals could do whatever they want. But too much on the other, and we lose privacy, freedom, all that.
Exactly. A classic problem, but quantum cryptography makes it even trickier.
Something else I'm thinking about is, will it create a new digital divide? Like if only rich people, governments, those with resources can get this super security, wouldn't that leave a lot of people behind, more vulnerable than ever?
That's a really important point. We have to think about fairness. Make sure everyone benefits from this technology, not just a few. Otherwise, only some people have real cybersecurity, and that's not right.
So it can't be a luxury, right?
Yeah.
It has to be a basic level of protection that everyone can access. Big challenge, but we got to figure it out.
Absolutely. And it's not just about having the tech, it's about understanding it too. People need to know how it works, what it means, how to use it safely and responsibly.
Right, just like any powerful tool. Depends on who's holding it, what they do with it.
And as we wrap up, I think that's what we need to remember. Quantum cryptography. It can change a lot, maybe everything, but what really matters is what WE choose to do with it. Individuals, companies, governments, all of us.
It's not just about the science, the tech. It's about making the right choices, thinking about ethics, responsibility, deciding what the future of cybersecurity should look like, what kind of world we want.
Exactly. We need to talk about these things, make sure we're using this incredible technology for good.
This deep dive has been amazing. We started with quantum mechanics, then cybersecurity, and now these huge questions about, well, the future of everything. We're at the beginning of something big with data security, and what we do now matters a lot.
It's been a pleasure talking about all this. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep those quantum brains working.
Thanks for joining us. It's been a wild ride, and hopefully you've learned something new and interesting along the way. Until next time.